Carl Fogarty is the 1998 World Superbike champion. He starts 1999 with a big smile on his face at pre-season testing in Phillip Island. Troy Corser is his teammate, David Todozzi, the team manager. All things are set good for Carl Fogarty.
Over at Honda, the question is, can Aaron Sleight, the flying Kiwi, finally win a world title, or is he destined to be the best rider in Superbike never to be a world champion?
The 1998 standings, Carl Fogarty then the world champion, Aaron Sleight in second place, Troy Corser in third, and Akira Yanagawa on the Kawasaki in fourth place.
Pre-season at Phillip Island, the big two teams limber up for the season. Surely it's going to be all about Ducati versus Honda. And for Honda, it's the last year of competition of the V4 RC45. They will be desperate to go out with the title.
And it's a happy team. Aaron Sleight and Colin Edwards, their second year together. Edwards is looking good too.
I've had a very short break this year, which has been hard for me, and coming back here, it's been good just to get back on the bike again and go fast. You know, that's one way of getting rid of it. You know, it was hard to deal with in the off season. Come back, get on with it, go faster than everybody else, and start thinking about this year.
Going fast was the operative word at Phillip Island. The track had been resurfaced and everybody was absolutely flying.
The very grippy track was tearing up tyres though, and all the suspension settings the team had from previous years were as good as useless. That'd make things interesting when we got here for round two.
Now I feel as keen as ever, and we went to South Africa and we were equal fastest there, and things went really well, and that was a bit of a bad track for us last year, and coming here, being on the pace straight away, I feel really, really good about this year, and the bike feels good, and just it's the same as every year, we just want to win the championship like we have done for the last 6-7 years.
If you thought Ducati and Troy Corser with Carl Fogarty was a formidable team, never underestimate the power of Honda, Colin Edwards and Aaron Sleight. There is harmony at the beginning of '99.
It's definitely a little bit better than it was last year, and the biggest improvement for me is the suspension. I mean, as soon as we got that figured out, it was a whole different motorcycle. Now you can lose the front and get it back, whereas before that's how I crashed every time. I'd lose the front and just couldn't get it back. And now it's suited for me.
Just in case you needed proof, look at Colin Edwards here at Phillip Island, absolutely on the pace.
Yeah, I don't plan on being back in 4th, 5th, fighting for a podium position. That's not going to happen. Championship, that's the only thing. It's the only thing I settle for, and 10 races in the meantime, doing it. And I won't be happy unless I do that. And not that I'm a perfectionist, I just think that that's the way it should go.
And this year, Colin must challenge for the title if his career is to progress. And the man he has to beat is this man, number one, 3 titles under his belt. Carl Fogarty looks as good a bet as at any time for a 4th title. And as you can see and hear, that desire is still there. Carl and the Ducati 996, still the most formidable partnership out on the Superbike track.
Troy Corser too, looking every bit the 96 world champion he once was.
The season starts as usual in the Southern Hemisphere at Kyalami before moving to Phillip Island. Then it's back to Europe before we end in October again in Japan at Sugo. No new tracks, but a welcome return to the awesome straights of Hockenheim for the final European round. And as usual, the UK gets 2 rounds, Donington early on and Brands in the middle of the season.
And Frankie Keeley gets a brand new motorcycle to play on. It is the GSXR Suzuki of France's Batters Run Corona team. Out of Ducati, under a cloud, but into Suzuki and up for the challenge. It all starts here. It's Kyalami in South Africa for round 1 of the 1999 World Superbike Championship.
No surprise to see Troy Corser, the king of Superpole in '98, opening his '99 account by setting yet another pole position.
And as they came under starters' orders, Troy Corser on pole position to the right of the screen. Carl Fogarty alongside him, getting an absolute flyer off the line there. Well, they were caught absolutely napping. So down into turn one, Carl Fogarty, followed by Troy Corser, and that looked like a Yamaha to me in third place, Jules.
It was the brand new R7 with the ever-astounding Noriyuki Haga off a front row start, would you believe?
Oh, and challenging. And having a look at the inside of Uncle Carl as well. Uncle Troy, sorry. So Troy Corser under pressure already.
Just like last year, the Ducatis at the front, but look at Haga, number 41. Now, the Hondas had a nightmare here last year. Keith, looks to me as if they're in contention, because there's Edwards. Injuries.
Yeah, fourth place for Edwards at the moment, but under a lot of pressure already here at Kyalami. So as we look to the back of the pack, Carl Fogarty leads. Oh, here comes Haga. Haga up the inside of Corser. Corser has got back to third place now. Haga on that new R7. Well, what a debut that is for a brand new motorcycle in World Superbike. Who would have thought? And look at Keeley on the Suzuki as well. Keeley on the Suzuki in ninth place at the moment. We've got behind him on the Aprilia, but the man to watch, look at this, in what? There he is, 20, Doriano Romboni. Well, the ex-Grand Prix man on bike number 20 of Ducati. That bodes well for the year, Jules.
Just a little bit, Keith, and just as we were thinking Carl Fogarty was going to run away with this race, Noriyuki Haga is jumping away from Troy Corser and reeling the champ in.
A good reason to run away, wouldn't it be, if you got Haga chasing you? So Haga in second place, third is still Corser, fourth is still Edwards, but Carl Fogarty here at Kyalami really looking fair. Well, he loves his bike this year, doesn't he? Pre-season testing has proved Carl Fogarty likes his bike like he did his 95 version.
And he's as relaxed as we've ever seen. Now, Colin Edwards, number 5, closing there, but he's carrying a big injury from pre-season testing, torn shoulder muscles. Slight is probably the man to watch, Keith.
Yeah, Aaron Slight looking real good on 100.
Oh!
Goddard down then. That's the big Aprilia, hit in the dust. Well, tough guy Goddard picks it out of the sand. No, he says, I'm not going to bother. It's too much damage. Here comes Slidey. Slidey under Haga. Nicely done. Now that just goes to show us a little thing or two, doesn't it? Aaron Slidey, yes, thank you very much. I'll take that place, Noriyuki. So Haga, I'm sure he will appreciate that hand signal. So Aaron's,
oh, that is a Ducati on the deck. Is that one of the privateers? Is that Macias, the Colombian?
Yes, looking like that bike's going absolutely nowhere for the rest of the day. Right, look at Aaron Slight. Aaron Slight, well, he did not get the start. He really got caught with his trousers around his ankles at the start of this race, but look at the progress he has made. He is really challenging now. Corser is under a tremendous amount of pressure.
Now, third place might not seem much to shout about, but the Hondas here last year, Slightly got 2 8th places, would you believe? They had a disaster, so this bodes really well for Honda's challenge for the rest of the season.
And good for Aaron Slight as well, so he must start as one of the favourites this year, the last year of the RC45s. Of course, he won't be too happy at the sight of this, or rather the lack of sight of it, because he can't even see where Carl Fogarty went. Foggy off the front by an absolute mark. Just look at the lead he has now whittled away at the front here. Well, I can't believe it. I'm sure he can't believe it. And the rest of the World Superbike paddock must be struggling with it too.
There'll be some intense depression further back in the field to see this.
That looked to me like Lance Isaacs. It was 38 Lance Isaacs chasing Vittoriano Goretzky, was that?
It was,
on the Yamaha as well, the other R7 Yamaha.
Interesting young kid, being given a ride for the season, local man.
And looking pretty good as well, riding
in the points.
Chasing Vittoriano Goretzky. I know that Goretzky's no shambles around here either. Onto the start and finish line then. Carl Fogarty well off the front. We look at Lance Isaacs, the South African.
And that's Metclow behind him, Keith, so the kid has got some good scalps already.
Well, this kid's already got, he's got a hand injury, remember. He had a road crash just coming into the track earlier in the week, and he's got his handle bandaged up. This is his one-off ride. He's never ridden that bike before. Here's Carl Fogarty. He's ridden this bike a few times before. Number 1, Carl Fogarty comes into the left-hander and looking so very smooth. Really, he has got this so covered.
Over 5 seconds in the lead, the world champion in the first race of 1999. Keith, if this is an inkling of the form Carl Fogarty's going to have in 95, the rest could well pack up now.
Listen to the crowd. They are going potty. I think they either appreciate what he's doing or hate it, one or the other.
I think there's a few Brits in as well, Keith.
A lot of them have travelled into South Africa, no doubt about it. I've seen them around. You can see the flags as he comes to the end of the lap now. Carl Fogarty then riding absolutely superbly well onto the start and finish straight now. Pulls a little bit of a wheelie, gets it up, takes a nice long arrogant look at pit lane. Number 1 of the first round of the year goes to me, and number 2 goes to Troy Corser. So a clean sweep for David Todozzi's Ducati team. Aaron Slight forced back into third place, and Noriyuki Haga's Yamaha a remarkable 4th. Race 2 of the 99 season, waiting for the red light. And look at Aaron Slight, he's not going to miss this start, is he, like he did in race 1? No, he's not. Gets a great start. Aaron Slight then blasts away in front of, look like Carl Fogarty. Ron Boney's come through to third. Julian had his eyes on course, eye by eyes on number 20, Ron Boney. It was a great start from both of them, Jules.
Yes, it was. Fogarty fourth, Corsa second. Now, you can't overtake down here, they say.
Who said that?
Aaron Slight, Troy Corsa.
Well, they were wrong. It's been proved just then.
Foggy up to third and closing in on his teammate Troy Corsa.
Oh, Ron Boney in fourth place. There's number 7, and that's Frankie Keeley just a little way down on Suzuki. Hard to recognise on a Suzuki.
Yeah, it can take us a while to get used to that one, I think. Keith, thanks,
6 is Gregorio Lavia. As we wait for the leaders to come round, it is still Aaron Slight, but Corsa pushing on bike number 11. Number 1 in third place is, of course, Carl Fogarty having a bit of a sit-up. And then it is 20, Doriano Romboni. Yes, that is the Grand Prix man. They used to call him Rambo Romboni, so he's pretty well suited to World Superbike, I'd have said.
Yeah, said he's come a year too late to be really competitive this year, but we shall say it's getting tight now.
Tell you
It's
what,
Carl gone for the inside.
It's the two Ducatis, absolutely side by side. They were all the way down the hill. Carl Fogarty really lined that up brilliantly for the top of the hill, but he's run a little bit wide, and it looked like Corsa was going to have another go at it. Still Romboni in third place, in fourth place, but pushing and shoving there in fifth place. Has he gone through? Wait to see. Yes, it's Akira Yanagawa. Akira Yanagawa and Noriyuki Haga side by side.
Takes
Fogarty.
the lead.
Dear me, I was looking back at fourth and fifth place battles, and Carl Fogarty just rammed it up the inside of Aaron Slight.
So you can't overtake round here, as I said earlier.
Wrong. That's why you're sitting in the commentary position, and they're out there.
Good point, Keith. Carl Fogarty, awesome on lap 1 of race 2.
Oh, and awesome, getting 2 out of 2. Marcius, is that Jules?
It is, mate. Despite the helmet, looks like an old Troy Corsa design. That is the Colombian, 2 out of 2 crashes.
Oh, round it comes on him, and everyone trying to dodge him as he comes through the chicane. Oh, good miss there. Oh, well,
3-point turn.
yes, the bike gets a pirouette in the middle, and Marcius says, what the hell am I doing here in South Africa? Back at the second place battle, and look at the Aaron Slight, dear me, don't look, up the inside. Oh, that R7 is working so well here. Go on, another hand signal for Aaron Slight in race 1, it's from Haga in race 2. Here comes Goddard. That's a good position in front of the 2 Works Kawasaki's.
It is. Yanagawa was up well in the first race, set the fastest lap here last year, and always Haga and Slight having a war.
Oh, I tell you what, Slight, he wasn't going to let him go, was he? And Haga muscled his way around the outside. Aaron Slight could hardly believe it. Did you see that, he says?
That's like Corsa, he's in shock. I think Corsa got him. No, he didn't.
Only round the outside. Troy's not going to go the same way as Haga did. Oh, and they're running right over the curve. Carl Fogarty don't care, neither do the birds at trackside, because they're just watching this man at work. Fogarty then, well, race 1, he made it look easy. Race 2, he's making it look easy. 2.
Easier, I think. Keith, he's running away, having a bigger fight behind him. But Carl, on this form, we know Ducati suit this track from the first ever World Superbike race at Kyalami last year, but this is ridiculous.
Yeah, Fogarty, the eyes of Fogarty then through the left hand. Oh, down goes Haga. Haga is out.
That's
the
the chicane.
R7, it's the debut crash of the R7 Yamaha to go with the debut 4th of the first race. But it's Carl Fogarty who is going to take this race absolutely easily. He's worked his way through the back markers. He comes down to the last turn on the course. The left-hander, just a wheelie, and then the celebrations after round 1 into the South African sun. Oh, pushing and shoving there. And Corsa, well, he's been bashed out of that second place, and you might well wheelie Aaron Slight and wave. So, the double for Carl Fogarty, the reigning champion. Aaron Slight comes through in second place, Troy Corsa third, and Colin Edwards in fourth place. And that was Carl Fogarty's 50th career Race World Superbike win. On top of the podium, Carl Fogarty for the second time in South Africa and celebrating in style.
After winter testing, I was the fastest one there, and every day we tested there, so I was obviously confident I could win there, and probably the easiest 2 races I've had to win, certainly in the last couple of years anyway. I was just miles in front within a few laps, and I was a bit surprised, to be honest, how easy it was, and I was thinking, no, I hope the rest of you is sort of like this, but it's a good circuit. It's just a little bit dangerous, but it's a good circuit for a rider, and the bike worked well there, tyres worked well, and like I said before, when everything works well, I'll go out and win the races.
A 50-point maximum in South Africa gives Carl Fogarty a 14-point lead over Aaron Slight and Troy Corsa, tied for second place.